It's time to go racing in the South Garda Supercup here in South Garda Karting in Lonato. We're ready to start 3 days of great racing here with these amazing go-karts already hitting the track for the first qualifying or the first heat of the evening. Nicola Saglia here in the commentary box. Here at my side we have Emanuele Cerino. Hello Emanuele, how are you? And welcome to Lonato.
Hi everyone, thank you. I'm very happy to be here to see this big amount of heat. Now we have the hot lap, so the drivers will have more or less 2 minutes to pass the area of the checker flag, and then they're gonna have 1 lap. So the qualifying is gonna be only 1 lap, and then we will have the grid of this category. This category now is the plus 100 category. So they are gonna compete against each other during all these 3 days, and in a few minutes, probably less than a minute, we are gonna have the complete classifying of the session, and we are gonna see who's gonna get the pole position of this hot lap round.
Un saluto chiaramente anche a tutti coloro che ci stanno seguendo dal paddock e sul canale live su YouTube del South Garda Supercup. Ovviamente siamo nel corso della prima qualifica, della prima manche di questa lunga serata. 6 batterie vivremo stasera e altrettante poi domani nei 5 scaglioni che ci accompagneranno nella giornata di domani, e poi avremo domenica le prefinali e le finali. Categoria in questo momento in pista i piloti con plus 100, quindi con più di 100 kg a livello chiaramente di poi Zavor, ne parleremo Emanuele. So it's about to be completed this first long lap here on you can see the track is very damp. It has rained a lot today here in Lonato. Now we see checkered flag. We will see the times growing. They are passing now on the start-finish line, so we will have the first times, and so the times will give us the starting grid of this first heat of the day. And now we have, I think, Bezzani, who scored the fastest lap so far in a 1:33.254. Yes, the fastest lap so far. Drivers are completing now the lap. Now I see that nobody is improving his time, so I think Giulio Bezzani will take the pole position for this first heat, Emanuele.
Yeah, I think that in this case, with this condition, Italian drivers have a little advantage against the others. That's why we have the 2 Italians driver in first and second position. We have Giulio Bezzani and Tony Interlandi in front of the field. Then we have from Hungary, Gabor Suller, and then all the other drivers. But yeah, the qualifying in this case is tough because the drivers have only 1 lap to do their best and achieve the best lap time, and especially in this condition that are very tricky. We have the track that is not dry, it's wet but not too wet. They had also the possibility to find some grip during the afternoon, during the freak practice, and we have seen during the afternoon different condition because sometimes the drivers had a big rain, then they have the asphalt that was probably a bit too drier, but yeah, the conditions in this case are very tricky. So let's have a look at what's gonna happen during this race.
Very tricky, as you said. It's the worst racing like this than not in a full wet situation, because now it's in a full wet situation. You have the idea of the line that you have to take in this situation. You know, the track is very damp. Again, it's drying, but of course now it's, as you can see, it's evening. It's dark, and so it won't be dry very soon. And so drivers will have to face some different lines on track. As you can see now, they are stopped and they have been instructed by the marshals to position in the right order for the start of this race. As we can see now, we're going to take a look at the starting grid with Bezzani Interlandi, and then Suller and Chivers, Berual and Kies, and then Chiappa, Tirali, Fegan, Demby, Nesic, Calloni in P12 in front of Nicol, and then Parisian, Vainio, Creti, Suvacharov, Alexa Suvacharov in P17 in front of Michael Bowles in P18. And then we have all the other drivers. I think there are 36 drivers on track, Emanuele. It's going to be a house really packed up There's going to be a lot of drivers through this heat. It won't be easy to, as we can say, it won't be easy to race in these conditions. With Gritti, P19, then Hill, Fishbach, Malagnini, Rollins, Novitsky, Watt, Grayson, Schroff, Spasojevic, Tubic, Bellingheri, Cockings, Vilupek, and Thierry Boutin. Closing up the group with Brentegani and Oli George, who didn't score a lap. So unfortunately for these two drivers, there won't be no lap. So maybe we can see them in the race. We will check it out.
Yeah, I think that the start is gonna be very tricky for the drivers, even because they will be all together on the first sector of this track is very fast. So I'm very curious to say what's gonna happen, but I think that we will have a lot of action. I think we will have a lot of action to command together tonight, and let's see what's gonna happen.
And for all tomorrow, and then on Sunday, remember tomorrow we will have the other 5 heats for all of this group. Now we're talking about Group A. We will have a Group A, then Group B, Group C, Group D, Group E, and Group F. So we have 6 groups. And then with the first heat tonight, and then tomorrow, we will have the 5 heats for any of this group. And then we will have the pre-finals on Sunday morning. And we will end with all the categories finals during the afternoon of Sunday. So it's going to be a really long weekend here in Lonato, long weekend of racing. Now we're waiting for all the drivers to line up. Of course, the situation is that they have to be, as we can see from as you can see now also from our camera angle, that they are going to be put all in the right order to start, and then they will have the formation lap. They will have the short formation lap with the shortcut at the last sector, and then we will have the green flag, of course. So remember, we are in the South Garda Supercup, a very important Super Cup here for this part of the season. We'll kick off the second part of the season of races here in the go-karts and also in Lonato with this incredible event. Really, a lot of drivers, Emanuele, from all over the world. We've seen drivers from really everywhere. From Australia, from United Arab Emirates. We've seen them coming from all over Europe. So it's very fun to watch. It's an incredible atmosphere here in Lonato.
Yeah, it's true. Of course, we know that for probably in this condition for the Italian drivers, for the local drivers, they're going to have a little advantage against the others. But I just want to say what's going to happen with the driver that came from a nation that is far from Italy, because probably most of the people don't know them, but at the same time they can show and get the proof of what they can do in a difficult condition like this, in a new track for most of the drivers. But I think this is a good opportunity for the track, a good opportunity for the South Garda Karting to be known more and more in the world, because this actually is not a simple race. It's like a World Cup race, seeing all the drivers came from all over the world. But in a few minutes, in a few seconds, in this case, we are gonna start.
We're ready for the green flag, pronti per la bandiera verde allora di questa prima manche con Interlandi e Vezzani in prima fila davanti a Tyrus e Gabor Suller, e poi come detto Norbert Kiss e Berwal. Attenzione a Giulio Vezzani e Tony Interlandi che danno un po' il ritmo in questo momento. So we're ready with Vezzani and Interlandi setting up the pace, very slow pace here through the final sector here in Lonato. Here they come to the cut, and now they are coming here on the front straight with Vezzani and Interlandi leading the field. We see the lights, still red. It's an extra formation lap commanded by the race director. Oh, we didn't say it. It's going to be a 12 minutes hit. 12 minutes for all of these heats. I think also tomorrow. Oh, look at this. Look at this light. They are just tiptoeing now because it's a very difficult situation with the lights. As you can see, the lights that are in some part of the tracks are, let's say, very tricky to define the line, and so they have to be very, very careful, at least in this final laps. We have an extra formation lap, so drivers again will have to bunch up, and they will then will have to put in the starting grid formation. Giro extra di formazione comandato dal direttore di gara. Tra poco torneranno i piloti sul traguardo.
Quindi giro extra di formazione, non ho capito se sia successo qualcosa o magari se i piloti non erano tutti perfettamente allineati, ma può essere anche un vantaggio in generale per i piloti in queste condizioni di poter avere un giro in più per cercare di capire quello che è il grip migliore o soprattutto i punti migliori dove c'è maggior grip all'interno del tracciato in queste condizioni molto difficili. Soprattutto, come dicevo prima in inglese, per i piloti stranieri sarà difficile adattarsi magari per un circuito che per molti di loro non è neanche noto, condizioni della pista molto scivolose, pista nuova, condizioni difficili. Oggi abbiamo visto sessioni asciutte, sessioni bagnate, quindi vediamo come i marshal, i direttori e i commissari di gara stanno cercando di dire ai piloti di essere quanto più compatti possibile, però sappiamo che in una griglia composta da praticamente più di 30 piloti, avere tutti compatti è molto difficile, quindi sarà anche compito e oggetto del direttore di gara dare il via quando le condizioni saranno congrue, magari non perfette ma congrue, per poter garantire una partenza in sicurezza.
Here they come again on the final corner. They're ready to hit the front stretch again. They're coming out of the final corner. Here they come. Let's take a look at the light. The lights go out. So the race has started now with the leaders Vezzani and Interlandi. They started in a single line formation. They didn't start in the Classico, as you can see, because of the situation of the track. And so now you can see that they are very careful through these first corners here in Lonato. Then, there's a contact between the first drivers. And as you can see, both Vezzani and Interlandi went out. So we will see who will be the driver who comes out first of turn 5. While the battle goes on behind the leaders, we already had some crash on the first lap. And I think that Gabor Suller was the fastest one to come out. Let's take a look now.
Yeah, I was imagining something happening in the front, especially in the first corner, but in my imagination there was not a crash between the two, the first and the second in the field. So the classifier that we're gonna see after this lap is gonna be completely different from the qualifying. So let's have a look at what's gonna happen now in this tricky condition.
Strange battle now. They went out. I don't think there was a contact between the two of them.
Maybe they missed the first.
They missed the second corner, and then they went right out of the track with there was a lot of mud, a lot of damp mud, and also some green, and so it's not a good place to go. But as we can see that they now pass with Suller leader in front of Chivers, and then Interlandi and the Vezzani P3 and 4. So now it's Gabor Suller, the Hungarian, in front of Chivers, the driver from Great Britain. Here they come, and then we have Vezzani, then Kiss, Berual, Chiappa, Dambi, Fegan, and Calloni completing the top 10. And while we have a battle for the lead now with Chivers and Suller fighting hard as they come through turn 5. Still very difficult situation. And we have again 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go.
Yeah, we have also to remember that in the Curva dei Meccanici, we have also track limits. I was checking in this area, and a lot of drivers were passing the red area with 2 or 4 wheels. So it's going to be also tough for most of the drivers to not receiving penalties in this situation. Because during the briefing, the race director was very clear. You cannot pass the red area in the Curva dei Meccanici outside. So probably most of the drivers are gonna try to find the best grip, and as we know, and as all the drivers know, during the wet condition, outside line is usually more, it's faster basically. So it's gonna be tricky for them to not passing out from the lines.
Yeah, you're right. You remembered well that briefing with the race director while we have Chivers has taken the lead of the race with the Hungarian driver behind of him who's trying to overtake. We can see now that in turn 2 they're all very wide on the outside because there's this tarmac there. There's no mud, and so they can try to take the fastest trajectory, the fastest line, and as they go in the Curva dei Meccanici, as there was a pass between the two of them with Suller. Now I think he's leading the race, and he has made a sign to Chivers like saying, let's go, the two of us, let's go. Let's not let the other drivers come on our tail.
Yeah, basically they're very fast against the others. Their pace is very good. The third driver, Tony Interlandi, is more or less 4 seconds far. So in less than 7 minutes, I think they have enough time to fight if they want. But I don't think that in this case, Kivers is fast enough to follow Suller time.
And we will see, because they are fighting very hard now in this situation. And also, I think Suller scored the fastest lap so far. I think it was a 1:32, so they're still lapping. But Chivers is still, now he scored the fastest lap, 1:31.026. Times are going down. The times are going down. So this means that they are the fastest drivers on track, because 31.0 for Chivers, 31.2 for Suller, and then Interlandi with P3 is 33.257. So it's a higher lap. But all the laps now are going down. All the drivers are green on our timing screen. This means that they're all improving their times. So the track now, as we can see also from the pictures that they're shown on your screen, ladies and gentlemen, the track is getting drier. Oh, there was a mistake. There was a mistake by the leader. There was a mistake by Chivers, I think. And Suller has managed to take back first position.
I don't think that it has been a mistake. Just the other driver tried the inside line, and it was tricky as well. So I don't think that this was a real mistake. I think that just the other driver tried a different line, who pays more in terms of grip, in terms of pace. So probably the next lap, all of the leading group is gonna pass from the inside in the curva quadra.
Let's take a look now, because time is going up very fast, and we are 4 minutes and 54 seconds now as Suller passes, and he's the first driver to go under the 1:30. It's a 1:29.734, so times are definitely going down with the two leaders, with Suller now leading the race. We will see how it will go with. He is absolutely fast. As you said, he is the fastest on track. Now let's see. If they do, there's a contact. There's a driver who spun. I can't read now the number, but I think it was a left cart. So we will have to take a look at this. They're all 36.2 in the T1, 36.8 for Chivers in the T1. Chivers is still slower than Suller. Suller is trying to break away, as we can see now from this picture. Is trying to take advantage of all the track in the fast chicane here in Lonato. Let's see how he can improve his time. He's already trying to put sometimes he's already, in this lap, he has already earned about 0.8 of a second in the first two sectors on Chivers.
Yeah, we also have seen some blue flags during this short race, so probably for some drivers these conditions are very, very tricky. So the lap time shows us the different potential of the drivers. I think in this case only the first two drivers are very fast against the others. We can see from the lap times they are doing 1.29, 1.30. Their gap against the other is very big, because the average pace is 1.32, 1.33, 1.34. So 2 seconds 2 seconds gap every lap is high. It's a big gap.
It's a really big gap.
That's why they have 3 seconds. They have not 3, no, 10 seconds gap against the third one, Tony Interlandi. So I think that for the 2 Italian drivers, it's gonna be very, very tough to get back to the leaders after their mistakes in the Curva del Bar. But then we have a big fight. We have a big bagarre against the 2 leaders that now are arriving in the Curva S.
As you can see now, while behind of them, there was also some drivers who was able to take a lot of positions. We've seen that the leader, Suller, has lost 1 second on Chivers, who's attacked, while Beroual is now P5, the driver from Algeria. Made a great recovery so far, has done a great job. While Gabo Suller and Ash Chivers are fighting hard, we've seen that Suller has lost 1 second over Chivers, and now they're fighting hard for this first position. As you can see them coming out of the final corner, here they come, and they're now very close with Suller, now leading by just a couple of tenths of a second over Chivers. Chivers was absolutely fastest, was slightly faster in this last lap, 9 tenths of a second behind the 2 of them, off gap on the times. So Chivers was absolutely faster. And now, Emanuele, I didn't see, but I think we may be in the final lap of the race because there's just 1 minute 15 gone.
Yeah, so who's gonna win this race? Who's gonna win this first heat of the South Garda Supercup here in Lonato del Garda in South Garda Karting? We have seen a really good fight and good bagarre between the 2 leaders. But now we see there is a bigger gap than the lap before between the 2 leaders. So let's see.
Let's take a look because time is going down. Time is going down now.
40 seconds left.
40 seconds, and Suller and Chivers are crossing now the line that scores the final sector of Lonato circuit here in South Garda Karting T3. As you can see, time is going down. Less than 30 seconds remaining. Maybe they have another lap. They may have another lap to complete this race. Here they come, and they do have another lap. So final lap starting now with Suller 1:29, 1:93, slightly faster than the others. 1:29.5 for Chivers P2, and then we still have Interlandi P3 in front of Giulio Vezzani, who's been passed by Beroual. Beroual has passed Vezzani. There's also while they are fighting out here in the leading group with I think there is a left car. There's a left car, so it's going to be there's a battle with Chivers trying to go on the inside of Suller. They fight hard in this final lap.
Yeah, we see here in the quadra completely different line. But the gap now is bigger. So let's pass the Curva S, and then we have the last section of this track, the patina section. The trickiest one in this case. But the gap now is big. Let's see if the second is gonna be able to close that gap to arrive.
It's the final
corner.
Final corner now. Final
but
corner.
I think that's it. That's it for. It should be Sulle. It should be done for Sulle.
Sulle takes the checkered flag. Here they come. And here is Gabo Suller wins the first heat of the day in front of Ash Chivers. And then we have Tony Interland in P3. But what a battle between the 2 of them throughout all the race. But we have a penalty, I think, for Ash Chivers. 10 seconds penalty. I think I saw on the timing screen. So let's take a look because the situation might change. Abbiamo visto una bella battaglia tra Suller e Ash Chivers, con Suller l'ungherese che ha avuto la meglio. Attenzione perché Chivers si viene segnalato sullo schermo dei tempi che ha 10 secondi di penalità, quindi attenzione, potrebbe essere anche quindi una seconda piazza, Emanuele, per Tony Interlandi.
Sì, anche perché Suller comunque aveva già un bel gap. No, in realtà è confermato secondo, perché se
È
vedi dal
vero,
gap
avevano più tempo, è vero.
aveva già un gran bel distacco su Tony Interlandi.
Adesso esatto,
Quindi Chivers, nonostante la penalità di 10 secondi, capiremo magari dopo il motivo della penalità, se è track limit, se è per un contatto a inizio gara, comunque mantiene la seconda posizione e con il primo dei piloti di casa, quindi Tony Interlandi, che dopo essere partito davanti riesce ad arrivare solamente, tra virgolette, in terza posizione, ma sappiamo che in queste condizioni così difficili comunque è importante, soprattutto in una gara come questa che dura praticamente 2 giorni e mezzo, totalizzare il maggior numero di punti, quindi magari è meglio ottimizzare, non rischiare di mandare all'aria tutto e fare punti, perché poi conteranno per la giornata della domenica, per le finali. Quindi gara comunque solida da parte dei piloti, abbiamo visto delle differenze a livello di tempi importanti, ci sono stati piloti che hanno girato con ritmi decisamente superiori rispetto ad altri, normale in queste condizioni di asfalto, non lo definirei quasi più bagnato ma ormai umido, però la prima hit è andata, ne mancano poi altre in questa serata, quindi stiamo a vedere cosa succederà nel corso dei prossimi hot lap alla fine e poi delle prossime hit.
So, despite a 10 seconds penalty, Chivers was able to maintain second position in front of Tony Interlandi, and Beryl Smith has taken P4 in front of Giulio Vezzani, right in the final lap, in front of Kiss P6, Dambi P7, Chiappa P8, Fegan P9, P10 for Paroissien, and then Calloni, Bowes, Nicol, Fishback, Gritti, Nasitz P17, and Massimo Tirali P18, with the last lap who's under investigation. And now it's already time to go to the Group B of this first heat of the day. Group B taking now the track here in South Garda Karting in Lonato for the hot lap. As we remember, it's 2 minutes for all the drivers to come out of the pre-grid zone, taking the start-finish line, and then score the fastest lap, just to then take the best place in the starting grid. Emanuele, we've seen in the race before that the drivers who were in front actually staying in front. There was just a couple of changing of position, while here you can see all the drivers here on your screen, thanks of course to our director who is taking us through this weekend of races, all the drivers, and we will see who will be the fastest. Emanuele, do you think that times will go down? We've seen a 32 before in the lap, in the heat before the hot lap. We've seen also in the race going to 29, so they will be fasting up during these heats. Also because the drivers here are 85 kilos of ballast, if I remember.
I think that they're gonna be faster than the group before, but I was thinking because even in this basically one lap of qualifying, it's very difficult to find the best strategy, because if you are on the first position of the group, it could be an advantage in this case, because you have plenty space. You have the space to do whatever you want in terms of line, when you can brake, when you wanna just press the gas. I think that the big disadvantage is from they have the drivers in the mid part of the group, because basically for them it's very difficult to find the correct space to complete the lap. So in this case, in this scenario, in this one lap, probably as we've seen before, the drivers in the top so the driver that exit first from the pit lane have the bigger advantage, and we have seen before that the two drivers exit from the pit lane were the fastest in this case. Let's see, maybe in this case...
Oh, time's going down.
Yeah.
The times are going down. We already have a 25 with Luca Corsi, 1:25, 3:21, but Christian Asa, 1:24, 1:50 is the fastest on track so far. Wow, they are going down. As you said before, they are going down with the times. They are absolutely fast. We also have 4 women, 4 girls on track here in this group with, I think, Nicole Pellizzari, who scores the fastest lap among the ladies with 1:29.985. But we have Christian Asa, leader, 1:24, 1:50 in front of Sebiatowski. Now he's 1:24.907, 0.7 of a second. It's really big gap with Mirko Chiarenza P3, Corsi P4, De Natale P5, Wilkins P6, Tuareg P7, Philpott P8, Bell P9, Guillermirian P10, completing the top 10, then Sumner P11, Jaratana P12, Bossi P13, P14 for Peace, and then Zaccaron P15, Marucchi P16, P17 for Lanfranchi, Donadoni P18, and then we have Vucinic P19 in front of Payan P20, then Matteo Glielmi, Vernet P22, Tosi P23, Nicole Pellizzari P24 in front of Angela Glielmi, and then Benincasa, Pizzi, Egedus, Baratti, Glusatz. And so we have this 1:24.150. Emanuele was the fastest lap. 1:24.150 il miglior giro di Christian Asa. Diciamo, Emanuele, che i tempi sarebbero scesi. Avevi ragione tu, sono scesi.
Sì, immaginavo 2 secondi siamo circa rispetto al best lap della gara però precedente, perché alla fine la qualifica era arrivata sull'1:29, 1:30 se non sbaglio. Poi ovviamente i piloti con la pista che si va a asciugare hanno avuto modo di migliorare il tempo, quindi 1:24.1 diventa già un tempo interessante, che sicuramente nelle prossime hit andranno a scendere. E qua vedo rispetto a prima tempi leggermente più compatti, sebbene ci siano 2 categorie in pista, o meglio 3 anche, Open, Master e Women. Vedo tempi già più compatti rispetto a prima, quindi probabilmente magari rispetto al gap di 10 secondi che abbiamo visto prima tra i primi 2 e già il terzo, magari in questo caso potremmo vedere più una gara di gruppo, ma in realtà tutto dipenderà da quello che succederà nelle prime curve, quindi nella parte veloce del tracciato, per poi arrivare alla curva del bar, alla curva dei meccanici. Diciamo che ci daranno molto su quello che succederà all'interno di questa hit.
Ricordiamo categorie che poi andranno a essere quelle che vedremo in finale, quindi Open, Plus 100, Master e Women, quindi queste saranno poi le categorie che vedremo nella finale. Fino alla prefinale invece vedremo ancora sempre questi gruppi misti di piloti assolutamente importanti. So we're now waiting for all the drivers to line up with Christian Asa and Cebiatowski, the Polish driver, who will have the first row in front of Chiarenza and Corsi. So a second row, an all-Italian second row with Marcin Bischi, Alan Zanelli, and Riccardo Lucini, who didn't complete their lap in this first qualifying for the Group B. So we will take a look if they are now lining up on the grid. As Emanuele was saying, we will have maybe a little bit of battle more behind the leaders, but we've seen that the leader has taken, Asa has taken 757 advantage, 757 thousandths of a second of advantage on Cebiatowski, who is in second position, the Polish driver. So we will take a look. We will see if he is going to have the pace to run away from the beginning from all the drivers on track. Last drivers are now going to take their position. Race director is ready to give the green light, and so we will soon have the formation lap for this second heat of the evening with the group 1B. We remember you that we will have groups A, B, C, D, E, and F for all these heats that started this afternoon and will go on all throughout tomorrow from 8:50 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. And then we will have on Sunday, we will have the pre-finals again with the groups. And then we will have the final races for the categories with plus 100, women, open and master. But, Emanuele, the formation lap has started, so we're ready to race.
Yeah, ready to see what's gonna happen in this race. A few seconds before the start of this, Heat 1B.
12 minutes again to race. Drivers who are now crossing the line, or almost ready to cross the line with the T3 of the track, with Asa and Kevin Treviatowski leading the field. We'll see how they will line up, if they will be again in a single row or if they'll be in the classic formation, in the classic starting lineup build up with the two lines. I think they will be again in one single row. Here they come to the front stretch with the lights that go out now, and Asa now tries to break away from Treviatowski with all the field now on his tail.
Yeah, let's see what's gonna happen.
Treviatowski is under attack. Treviatowski is under attack.
Yeah, we see a 3 wide or a 4 wide in the Curva del Bar. Someone is gonna pass on the grass. No! This time most of the drivers... Yeah, some drivers pass on the grass, but in the midfield, in front, we have a good fight for the second position. We have the leader that now is creating a gap. And probably he wanna go to extend this gap. But then for the second position, we have a good fight, a good bagarre against... with, yeah, basically 5 drivers fighting for the second position in this race.
But Asa is trying to break away, and is doing so while all the drivers fight in the fast S of the track. And there's a great battle. Of course, many drivers here in that where the track goes from wide to very tight in that corner. So they're going to be hard to take the position. Here they come on the final corner with Asa, who has tried to break away. That is already the fastest driver on track, with the first lap completed in 1:22.189, with Mirko Chiarenza, who was able to take second position in front of Treviatowski, with Igor Tworek in P4, De Natale, then Philbot, Corsi, Zaccaron, Bell, Wilkins in P10. I think that Treviatowski already lost the position. Yes, of course. And it was a tight battle here in the first corner.
Yeah, tight battle now. Probably the gap between the drivers has extended during these, a few corners. So I think we're gonna see less fight than the race before in this case. But we have more or less like 10 minutes to see what's gonna happen. Probably the biggest chaos and fight is gonna be on the midfield and not in the front of the group, where we see most of the drivers driving. Yeah, also in the S, they try different lines. Probably some of them are trying to see and to check if the best line is now looking for the outside line, and some are trying on the inside line, and most of them are following the wet line. Some are trying to use also the dry line to see if the grip is decent also. But in most of the corners, the track is still wet and not available for normal lines. But in front, we have
no problem at all for Asa, the leader, because he's breaking away. He's already built up a 2.1 second lead over Chiarenza, is in second position, and he's still pushing with Chiarenza, now scoring the fastest T1. But we have Treviatowski in P2, who scored the fastest lap and going in now in second position, because he's gone under the 20, so he's 1:19.992, and I think he was able to overtake Mirko Chiarenza. I think he was able to take second position. I'm now trying to see from the track, but I think he has taken second position with Chiarenza. Now has to fight with Riccardo De Natale, who is also the fastest in the second in T2 of the track. So while the third lap is completing now, and there's just 8 minutes missing at the end of this heat, they are fighting hard. Asa 1:19.035, going still fast, and Cebiatowski, as I was saying, has taken second position in front of Mirko Chiarenza, with Riccardo De Natale lapping P4 in front of Tuareg, Corsi, Brad Philbott, who is the first one of the master drivers, and then Zaccaron, Bell, and Zaratana, in P10. We've seen a couple of drivers who has lost position. I think Mirko Lanfranchi is one of them.
Yeah, now we see that the drivers are changing most of the lines in the corner of the tracks. So for some of the corners, the best line is starting to be the dry one. That's why the lap times has improving for most of the drivers. But at the same time, we have the leaders that are the leader that is extending the gap against the others. So not that much to see in terms of fighting and bagarre for the position, but in this case, let's
take a look now.
What's going to happen on the
at the bottom for the third position? There's an accident with the yellow flag in the final part of the track with Riccardo De Natale, who was able to overtake Chiarenza, and also Igor Tuareg with the fastest lap, 1:18.344, was able to overtake Mirko Chiarenza. And now, so we have Asa in front of Cebiatowski, then De Natale and Tuareg, and then Chiarenza, P5, with Aran Bell, who's taking the position over Zaratan. So he is trying to recover with Benincasa, Sumner, who are losing a lot of positions. And now Benincasa is P25, with Dave Sumner is P24 in front of him, but they've lost many places. The leader, meanwhile, Christian Asa goes on with 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go. He is absolutely now in control with 2.8 seconds on Kevin Cebiatowski, who is trying to recover some ground, is trying to close the gap, although it's not easy of course. And we pay attention also to Luca Corsi in 6th position because he has scored the fastest T1 and T2, so he may go for the fastest lap.
Sì, in questo caso ora, passando un po' al commento in italiano, abbiamo visto una gara più attendista, o comunque più tranquilla rispetto a quello che abbiamo visto nella gara precedente, complice comunque una pista che sicuramente si sta asciugando, complici tempi che stanno scendendo giù di brutto. Abbiamo addirittura il leader che fa un giro veloce in 1:17,5, quindi sicuramente un passo importante da parte dell'Iter, mentre invece per la seconda posizione c'è una bagarre completamente aperta tra i vari piloti, con De Natale anche coinvolto, quindi sarà difficile determinare quella che per ora può essere la classifica finale all'interno di questa hit, ma sicuramente qua abbiamo dei piloti che sono riusciti a mantenere un passo più interessante, soprattutto tempi simili, a parte il leader che ha fatto un giro incredibile, mostruoso, complice la pista che si sta asciugando, i piloti che stanno mantenendo delle linee più da asciutto che non da bagnato. Ci sono ancora alcune traiettorie che prediligono una guida più in stile bagnato, ma per la maggior parte delle curve le traiettorie ideali sono già quelle d'asciutto, e chi più ne ha vantaggio di questa situazione sono i piloti che ne scoprono prima. Errore abbiamo visto da parte del secondo.
Sì, Cebiatowski ha fatto un errore, ha commesso un errore, ne ha approfittato da Riccardo De Natale. So Cebiatowski, we've seen him from our commentary boxes, made a mistake, and the driver behind of him has taken an advantage of this mistake while the leader goes on, and De Natale, I think, should have overtaken Cebiatowski. Here they come with De Natale overtaking Cebiatowski, and also Igor Tuareg has taken third position over the Polish driver, the fellow Polish driver. And so we have Tuareg now in P3 in front of Cebiatowski, with Chiarenza rounding in P5, with then Luca Corsi, fastest lap for him in a 1:16.532, who is in P6, and Brad Philpott, the first of the master, in P7.
Yeah, we've seen in this situation, we have the leader that is passing the lapped drivers, but I think his best idea is to stay in the fight for the second position, where we have most of the drivers that now are fighting with the lapped drivers. They can be an obstacle in the patina corner. Let's see if De Natale is gonna be able to pass all of the 2 lapped drivers. And yeah, probably he has extended the gap against the other drivers, because
15-1. 1:15,
Wow.
1:7.2 for Riccardo De Natale, who has also taken an advantage of some lapped drivers in front of him, some back markers who were, they helped him to build up a 0.8 lead over Igor Tvorek in P3. Now he is in P2 with Asa, who is gone.
Yeah.
He has a very big advantage, so he will have to defend. 2 laps to go, because we have 2 minutes, more or less, so we have 1 lap and a half to go in this situation for the drivers here in this first heat for the Group B, as we can see them storming through the fastest chicane of the track. Here they comes, they're ready to complete. We will see, because maybe they will have 2 laps again. I think we made a mistake on the count, because here he comes Asa. Let's see where Asa comes. I think he's got, here he comes. So he's got another 2 laps,
Yeah,
a couple of laps for him. While the times go down, and Igor Tvorek in P3 scores 1:14.832.
Yeah, the pace for the leaders is similar. Maybe the possibility that they have to score the fastest lap, they do when they maybe don't find on the lap the lap drivers. So I think in the front, De Natale also gained a bit more of gap against the third, so more or less than 1 second gap between the second and the third. So nothing particularly happened in this group in the first part of the field, but as we can see and as we can imagine, the midfield is where we find more bagarre. But then we see the leaders, we see where the most of the points are made. We see Asa that creating a 3 seconds gap. Then we have Riccardo De Natale in second position, and then the big fight is for the podium area, the podium zone between Tvorek and Trebaziowski.
Final lap starting now.
Yeah, final lap. 1 lap.
1 lap to go now with the leader going. Here he goes, storming through the first corner of the track with Asa, who has taken an advantage of, let's take a look, but I think it was almost around 2 seconds in this final part of the race. Here he comes with 2.4 seconds with De Natale in 1:14.388. He's forcing up the pace, but of course it looks like it's a little bit too late now, because he's got Tvorek and Sebetovsky being really close to him, so you will have to pay attention also to the driver behind of him. 2.4 seconds for the leader.
Yeah, now I think that Asa is just in the no risk mode, so keep the car on the checkered flag, no risk, no possibility to make mistake and lose a lot of time. 2 seconds. 2.4 seconds gap is enough in 1 lap, so...
Checkered flag ready to wave for the leaders. Checkered flag ready to wave. Now here they come on the final stretch of the track, and Asa takes checkered flag in front of Riccardo De Natale, and then Igor Tvorek P3, Sebiatowski P4, Luca Corsi P5, and then we have Chiarenza in P6. A storming win by Christian Asa, who really had no enemy in this race, had no obstacle to his win, Emanuele.
Yeah, in this case, the fight for the win and for the podium position has been... We saw that the fight was less Yeah, basically there was less bagarre than the race before. In this case, with the dry track, most of the drivers found the best line to achieve also the best lap times against the race.
E quindi abbiamo visto la vittoria di Christian Asa, che si è preso una vittoria dominante in questa gara, prima gara del gruppo B davanti a Riccardo De Natale, e poi Igor Tworek terzo davanti a Kevin Trebiatowski, che per lunga parte della gara ha mantenuto la quarta posizione, poi Luca Corsi quinto, Chiarenza sesto e Brad Philpott primo dei Master in settima posizione. Tra le ladies, categoria women, abbiamo visto Nicole Pellizzari prendersi la prima posizione in questa, anzi no, scusate, è Angela Glielmi che si è presa la prima posizione in 24esima, perché Nicole Pellizzari è stata penalizzata con 3 secondi e quindi ha perso la leadership della categoria women, ha perso la 24esima piazza e è 26esima. Una gara, come giustamente dicevi tu, comunque in cui ci abbiamo visto forse meno battaglie, però piloti più raggruppati.
Sì, assolutamente, piloti più raggruppati. È stata una bagarre meno accesa rispetto a prima, però diciamo che la gara, pur essendo stata breve, si è giocata sulla costanza, sul passo, generalmente, da parte dei piloti, quindi abbiamo visto un po' da parte di tutti sicuramente buoni tempi rispetto a prima, e sicuramente via via con la serata, se non dovesse arrivare la pioggia, e sembrerebbe di no, sembrerebbe che la fase pioggia sia finita per quanto riguarda oggi, sicuramente vedremo tempi che magari non si avvicineranno all'1.05, 1.04, 1.06, che sono quelli tendenzialmente d'asciutto, ma ci potremo andare vicini e sicuramente ci arriveremo domani.
E allora tra pochissimo pronti in pista con la prima hit del gruppo C. Here we go now with the Group C hot lap. So third qualifying for this evening of races, this Friday evening here of races in Lonato. With another group of drivers, of course, from all the categories, almost all the categories, of course, Open, Master and Women. We have a lot of drivers now. They have 2 minutes to reach the start-finish line and then complete their hot lap that will give us the standings, of course, for the starting grid of this first heat of this group. Starting now with the drivers on track. Of course, this situation is ideal for the drivers, as we were saying, in front, but of course it's a little bit more tricky for the drivers that are in the middle of the group, in the middle of the pack, and also for the drivers who are behind the group. Quindi è cominciata anche la terza qualifica, la qualifica del gruppo C che vede altrettanti piloti pronti in pista, con questa schiera di piloti appunto che si sta lanciando in questo momento. Vedremo i tempi e cercheremo di capire appunto quella che sarà poi la griglia di partenza per questa terza manche di serata. Ci avviciniamo piano piano quindi alla metà di questa serata di gare qui al al South Garda Karting di Lonato.
So, welcome back in this case. We are here to see what's going to happen during this one lap qualifying. We see a lot of bagarre, a lot of fighting during the last sector of the track, during the petting corner. So, a lot of drivers are going to lose a big amount of time on their lap.
Ashley King Maidstone has taken the first place in a 1:14.632. Fastest lap so far for the master category in front of Stefano Dallaglio is 1:14.951 by beat by Martino Antonacci, P2. The drivers from the Netherlands, the Dutch drivers, 1:14.857. I was ready to bet on Antonacci to take the pole position, but he's P2. And so we will see how the things will go during the race. With Lena Reading, who is the last driver crossing the line, 1:21.9 for her. It's P32, 33 drivers on track in this heat. And we've seen that the times have gone down because King Mayston has scored a 1:14.632.
Yeah, in this case, the gap between the first drivers is not so big because we have four drivers in 4/10 of a second. Then in 1 second we have 6 of them, and then the gap is gonna be extended more and more going down on the classifying. But yeah, during the same, probably most of the drivers, I think they didn't show their potential because of the fight we have seen in the last part of the track, in the Pettine section of the track. So maybe we are gonna see a race where the people starting from the mid part of the grid will arrive maybe in the first position. So I don't think this classifying this heat after this whole lap in the Group 1C has told us the completely truth of the potential that the drivers had. That's gonna happen. Let's gonna see what's gonna happen in this heat.
Mayston King taken the pole position 1:14.632 in front of Tino Antonacci, and then Stefano Dallaglio P3 with Mayston King, who's also the first one of the master, and then Naso P4, Zaccarella P5, Witzliski P6, then Bracale, Schmidt-Georg P8, and then Sansoni P9, with also the women on track with Julia Stankowiak, who's taken P19, first one of the women in front of Amelia Lukashevska P26, and then we have Eleonora De Cesero P31 and Lena Reading P32. So these are the ladies on track. We also have some. Attino Antonacci has taken the first place, of course, for the open drivers in front of Angel Naso, who is a P4 overall, but is second of the master of the open. And we have the two masters leading with Mayston King and Stefano Dallaglio, P1 and P3. So it will be fun to watch also the start of this race.
Yeah, let's have a look at what's gonna happen in the start of this heat 1C. I think that now, basing what I'm thinking, most of the drivers will be able to recover a lot of position and get in the leading group easily, because I've seen a lot of drivers compromising their hot lap due to some fights that are, of course, not useful during a qualifying session. So let's see what's gonna happen in the first part of the track that is very fast, with a circuit that is getting drier and drier. The lines are changing, and the drivers in this case don't have a lot of time to find the best and the optimal grip to fight, to basically also not fight for the position, but also to achieve the best lap time they can. So let's have a look at what's gonna happen.
Yes, yeah, it's going to be a very tight battle, I think, with all the drivers now lining up. The last of the drivers are now taking the position on the starting grid. And here they come. There's a lot. 35 drivers there's the major part of the drivers here, because there are really a lot of drivers now in this heat. So it's going to be tricky, the start. They will have to line up. They will have to bunch up in the right way to make sure that the race director can give the green light and that they can so fight in a correct way. And we will see if the standings will change a lot, as you said, Emanuele. We'll see if there will be some mix-up as the drivers take their formation lap.
So, let's have a look at what's gonna happen in this formation lap for the drivers. Again, a good field of more than 30 drivers. This is gonna be I think it's gonna be difficult as well to keep the group compact from the first to the last one. But if the race director will consider that the starting procedure is fine and safe, the race is gonna start in a few seconds.
Let's see, let's take a look because Mason King and Tino Antonacci are coming in the final corner of the track. Here they come on the start-finish line. They've been told to slow down. They've been told to slow down. Let's see if there's another formation lap. Now here they go. Here they go with Mason King leading the field in front of Antonacci and Stefano Dallaglio, who are trying to attack. Dallaglio is attacking Antonacci. Dallaglio is trying to attack on Antonacci and take second position in this first part of the race, and I think he was able to do so. And now Antonacci has to take back his position while there's a driver going wide in the fifth corner, the turn 5. Yes, there's also been some hard contact, but there is no damage to the go-kart, so they can go on. Again, 12 minutes, remember you to go in this heat. Let's take a look at what's about to happen with Ashley Mason King, who was able to break away now in the first lap. He was able to escape the problems, the first corner problems, with Tino Antonacci, who's lost a lot of position and now is not crossing the line of T2. Let's take a look because Antonacci may have lost a lot of places in the start. Going to be a tricky one to understand now with Mason King crossing the line first for the first lap.
Yeah, now we see Dallaglio and Naso, who are basically home race drivers, so they have a big advantages in this situation and in this track. So probably they are gonna be able to close the gap to the leader, and plenty of time to do that because now the gap is only 6 7/10 of a second. But I think that they will be very fast and they will take the leader easily and very fast. Now they take the leader. The gap is closed in just a few corners. So I think that their potential, their pace is very, very good and basically faster than the leader. Let's see the strategy that Dallaglio and Naso are gonna follow in this situation, in this race. Because we see that in this case Naso in the S is a bit faster than Dallaglio, but they know that they are basically faster than the leader. So I don't think that they're gonna fight against each other, the Italian drivers, because their goal, of course, is to pass the leader. But Naso tried the attack in the last corner and the corner before, and then we should have Naso in the second position, followed by Dallaglio. So Naso now has the chance to close the gap and fight for the lead of this race.
Yeah, he's done a great job because he's taken second position over Stefano Dallaglio, and he's also scored the fastest lap with a 1:13.291. But Mason King, this way, is trying to break away from the other part of the group, and I'm trying to take a look at where is Tino Antonacci's P20. He's lost 19 places at the start. What a poor start for Antonacci. And now, watch out, because Naso is trying to attack on Mason King, on the leader, who is now being almost catched. He's followed, but they are on the hunt behind of him, and they are trying to catch him. Yeah, we see that now Naso has the responsibility to close the gap to the leader.
And I think he did it because if we see, probably Naso tried the attack to the leader, but then he lost some time. And now he's back. A bit too far and a bit attacked. Yeah, Naso could be attacked this time from Dalle, but I don't think Stefano will try to pass him because otherwise we are gonna lose a lot of position and they won't be able to fight for the lead anymore. So for Stefano and for Michael, this is a good opportunity, but they cannot lose so much time because we have the other drivers behind them that are not so far. So they have to maximize their pace and not fight against each other. Otherwise, the possibility to close the gap and get to the leader is gonna be lower and lower.
Yeah, I think they will have to take a sort of an agreement to go together to catch Mr. King, because there's just 7 minutes and 30 seconds missing now. So they will have to go up. They will have to find the pace and close the gap on Mr. King, gap that already is 0.9, with Mr. King scoring the fastest lap in 1:12.790. The drivers from Great Britain is doing a great job and is trying to go away, but we see that the driver in second position, Angel Naso, is now looks like he has more pace than the drivers behind of him. So he's trying to go alone on his own and is trying to go and take Mr. King on his own. So he doesn't want any company. He wants to be alone.
Yeah, I think that Stefano Dallaglio has been attacked from the drivers behind. That's why probably he lost some tenths of a second during these few corners. But yeah, I think that in this case we have Naso has more potential to attack the leader. But we forgot to say that the leader came from Great Britain, so he should be used to these conditions, to this track and tricky condition. We forgot to tell this because this is very important. Maybe he doesn't know the track well as Naso and Dallaglio know, but at the same time, fact of being used on this prepared on this condition is as well a great advantage, and I think that he's using this advantage at 100% of the potentiality.
While we have a black and white flag for Daniele Marenzi for dangerous maneuvering on track, so the driver now in P22 will have to pay a lot of attention, and he will have to be careful and not to take another flag. We have the driver Anthony Brancale in P9, who has taken 1:11.798, the fastest lap so far. So we are lapping now under the 12, at least with Anthony Brancale, the French driver. So the times are still going down the track. So looks to be quite drier now. It's drying up, and so we see a lot of the line looks dry now. It looks a lot of less damp that we've seen before. But the leader Mr. King now is still in front, and now we see that Dallaglio has closed again the gap. 1:11.12 in 2 for Dallaglio, 1:10.9 for Ulisse Zanolli in P7. So the times are going down. 1:10.979. So we're already lapping under the 11. They're fast now. This group, they're really fast.
They're fast, and Naso closed the gap to the leader in only a few corners. I don't know if maybe the leader has done some mistakes or not, but now there is a group of 4 or 5 drivers fighting from the lead, fighting for the lead. And let's have a look at what's gonna happen, because they have basically 4 minutes left, so a few laps left. Let's see what strategy is gonna use Naso, and what's gonna happen also with the Dallaglio and the drivers behind, because they have some laps. But what do you think, Nicola, that the strategy could be the best one in this case? Wait the last lap or try to attack before?
I don't know. Maybe they should. Who has more pace now has to attack and break away.
Yeah.
Because
true.
if they come you know, in the final lap where they're all too close, they're all so close, anything can happen. So although if you have a great pace, but you have to show it, otherwise you are always under the attack. There's always something possible going down. It's not going to be good all the way.
Naso in this case had the first opportunity to attack the leader, but he didn't do that. I don't know why personally, because I was thinking, okay, Naso now is gonna attack the leader, but no, he didn't. But now Naso could have another opportunity at the Curva S, but the situation is very tricky. He cannot attack here. Maybe he's gonna wait into the Pettine corner where the possibility to attack is gonna be easier and more clear, but no. He wait as well, and this is an opportunity for, it could be Dallaglio, maybe.
Dallaglio may have stepped in second position with Mason King breaking away and starting his penultimate lap, I think. And here he goes. Yeah, you are right. Stefano Dallaglio has taken second position in front of Michael Angel Naso. And then Felix Wislitz in fourth place with Ulisse Zanolli, P6 behind Nicolò Zaccarella. But Zanolli, 1:10.380 has the fastest lap. And Julia Stankoviak in P11 is the fastest of the women. So Julia Stankoviak.
Dallaglio takes the lead, and Naso, with a contact, could achieve the second position in the penultimate lap. But Naso now has the outside line, so it could be attacked. Oh, the leader makes a mistake. Maybe a contact between them, but now Naso is in the third position. Stefano Dallaglio takes the lead. Probably 1 lap and a half left. Stefano Dallaglio has one opportunity and he takes it at all. And now Naso has to pass the second driver as well to get to the 1-2 of Italian drivers here in this heat in Lonato, but the situation is gonna be again tougher. Federico Contessi is telling to the driver, 1 lap left. So now is the time. Now is the time to attack. Now is the time for the leader, for Stefano Dallaglio, to defend the position. Every single corner could be an opportunity for the drivers to get the lead and get to the podium position.
What a great move by Stefano Dallaglio, and then behind of him, all the other drivers took advantage of this with Naso, who has also done a strong tackle on Mason King, who's lost a couple of places there, so he's lost the leadership, and now he's also behind all the drivers. It's a bit of shame for the British drivers because he has led the race. Now there's a fight for the win with Naso trying to attack on the leader.
Big mistake for Stefano Dallaglio not covering the east side line in the Pettine corner. There comes again.
On the outside. There's
look at Naso. Naso from third could win this. Naso could win this. Let's have a look. Checkered flag, photo finish.
Checkered flag now with the drag race. We will give you now the winner. Let's go to the timing sheet now. Let's see with Naso. I think he has taken a very good exit, but let's take a look now. We're still waiting for the timing sheet to show us who has taken the lead, the win in this third heat of the day. Trying to wait for the refresh of the page. We've seen a great race. We've seen the drivers all so close to each other, and they were able to have a drag finish race with a great battle with Naso and Dallaglio, who have managed to go until the end. They've done a great race with Mason King, the Leader with Naso has taken the win in front of Dalle, and then Felix Vicius, the German, Nicola Zaccarella P4, Mason King P5, P6 for Ulisse Zanolli. So Naso has been able in the end to take the checkered flag first and to take the win in this third heat in front of Stefano Dallaglio and Felix Wisliski, then Zaccarella, Mason King, Zanolli P6, Schmid York P7, and then Bracale, Schmidt, and James King completing the top 10 with the win for Dallaglio in the master category. 3 seconds penalty for David Schmid-Jorg, and then also we have to say that in P16, Julia Stankoviak has taken the win for the women category. So this is all for the Group C. We wait just a couple of minutes and then we will be on track with the Group D. There are still 3 heats to go in this evening here in Lonato. Group D on track. So we're beginning now the Group D, the 4th group of drivers. Ready to hit the track here for this qualifying session with the hot lap. We already see some drivers playing games in the back of the field, trying to wait for the last second to have the clearer track as soon as the track as clear as possible. So now they're starting the lap. Here they go. And now they will have to push as hard as they can to take the best place on the grid, best spot on the grid. Only one lap. Of course, it's a tricky situation because with the damp track, with the rain that has fallen down during the afternoon, of course, it's not easy at all to be able to score the fastest lap. I think that everybody, all of the drivers, is able to take the... there's a driver who's not been able to start. He's already taken checkered flag, so the 2 minutes have gone and he hasn't been able to take the flag. It's a mistake by one of the drivers. And now we will see who will be the fastest in this lap. Most of the drivers now are competing going in the final part of the track, the T3, and they're coming down in the final corner, and they will take the checkered flag now, checkered flag waving. So all the drivers are now completing their lap. I saw Charlie Radford climbing up the order. Now we will give you the times, of course. They're improving, they're all improving, they're making some good times, of course. They are going up. Charlie Radford, 1:11.346 in front of Archie Snell. So 1-2 for Great Britain. Archie Snell is 1:11.478, so just 1/10 of a second between the two of them. With Alex Galvani in P3, 1:12.116, and Bruno Sovrano P4 in a 1:12.361. So we have all drivers from the open category, and then we have Dejan Ferenczi, the first one, the Serbian, in 8th position, the first one from the master category. And we have Erika Zago in P12, who's the first one of the ladies of the women category. So Erika Zago has taken first place of the ladies. Si è conclusa quindi anche la qualifica per quanto riguarda il gruppo D, con degli ottimi tempi fatti segnare in questa sessione, con Charlie Redford, l'inglese davanti a tutti, in 1:11.346, Archie Snell, l'altro inglese, 1:11.478, due piloti della Open davanti a tutti, con Dejan Ferenzi, primo dei Master, in ottava piazza davanti a Andrea Bisogni, mentre Erika Zago, 12ª, è la prima delle ragazze ad aver fatto segnare un tempo in 1:13.743. Quindi è lei la prima delle ragazze in 12ª posizione. Vediamo che i piloti stanno andando a prendersi la posizione indicata dai commissari e poi si potrà procedere con il giro di formazione. So now we have a pair of British drivers leading the way here in this group D, with now all the drivers trying to take the right spot on the grid, with Victor Vota, who's been very unlucky because for just a couple of seconds he's not been able to complete his lap, and he has taken the flag before even starting his hot lap, his fast lap, so he will have to start from the back of the field. He's been really unlucky. He, of course, he missed the flag for a couple. He took the flag actually for just a couple of seconds, and so now he will have to go in the back of the field. Won't be. It's a shame for him, of course, but these are the rules. You know, they've already given more time, because they've not given just 1 minute and a half, but 2 minutes, and so he just missed for a couple of seconds in that situation. While we've done a great time by the two British drivers who will lead the field in the first row, first place and second, Charlie Redford and Archie Snell, have done a great job, with Alex Galvani and Bruno Sovrano decoration, who will start in P4 and will try to attack together with Marco Pozzi from P5, Manuel Elli P6, and then Andrea Sansoni P7. And then we have Ferenzi, Bisogni, Martellino, Busetto, Zago P12, Tamba, Takats, Blecher, Vilupek, Signorini P17, Lucas Rampa P18. With Elia Segato P19 in front of Mati Sarellano, Zdiebowski P21 and Sganzerla P22, Marrone P23, Giulia Milanese P24, and then Boifava, Vodecka, Tomasoni, Sigaudo, Pozzetti, Kolcinska, Gruszecka, Milo Barbera P32, and of course Victor Vota, who didn't take wasn't able to score his lap, and then Rory O'Regan, who didn't go on track. Here we are almost ready. Just the last drivers who will have to take the position, and then we will be ready to race again.
So in this case, Radford take the pole position with a solid lap time 1:11.3. Followed by Snell. So the gap between the two British drivers is basically 1/10 of a second. Then the gap from the second to the third is bigger. Let's see if they're gonna be able to extend the gap. As we saw before, the British driver now have a big advantage in this dry but not too dry situation, and we saw it before, and probably we will see now. We will see now the same thing. But we have Alex Galvani, that is a home driver, so it's also difficult to imagine who is gonna win the race, because the drivers have only one lap basically to score their lap time in the qualifying session. So maybe, as we saw before, we will see some drivers starting in the middle of the field, or basically also the last one who wasn't able to complete a lap time. Maybe he's gonna be the fastest man on the track. Let's see if he's gonna be able to get and gain so many positions or not.
Here they come now as they get to the formation lap in the last part of the track. They're coming to the final corner, and then it will be the the green flag. Drivers being told to slow down, very slowly, take the front stretch as the lights are still on, and they go out now with Radford and Snell leading the field now. The two British drivers who are trying to break away from the rest of the field. Here they comes with Archie Snell now trying to attack on Radford, with Alex Galvani in third position, trying to put some pressure on the pair of British drivers in front of him, and the Radford has taken a inside lane, but I think Galvani on his tail right as the driver goes outside, and I think it was Charlie Radford who has lost his leading position right now, and there's been also some mashup in the corner 6-7. As they storm through the fast S, there is a driver who's out of the race, in that situation. And we will see how they will come out of the final sector here in the first lap of this hit for the Group D. As they come. Here they are, they cross the line now, with Archie Snell leading in front of Bruno Sovrano and then Alex Galvani, Dejan Ferenczi, great start by the Serbian, P4, Manuel Elli P5, David Takas P6, Zoltan Tamba P7, Andrea Bisogni P8, and Charlie Radford is just P9. So the poleman, it was him who had that trouble in the first lap, in the first corners, and so now he has lost many places. He's just P9. While Archie Snell and Bruno Sovrano are fighting hard for position, with Sovrano storming by.
Yeah, there is a good fight in the front of the field, fighting for the first position, but now the leader made a little mistake in the S. That's why the second driver had the possibility to pass him as well. And now the leadership changes. We have three drivers fighting for the lead. Then a small gap to the fourth, and then another group of drivers fighting for the fifth position. But let's gonna stay in front, where we have the most spectacular fight of the field, fighting for the lead. We have Sovrano in front of the field. Then we have Snell, and then Galvani.
Bruno Sovrano was able to put a great move on Archie Snell, while Archie Snell had a little bit of, mashup in this corner, this fast S, in the first chicane. So Bruno Sovrano was able to take first place, and now we will see if the Croatian can get along, can get this place, can maintain this place, while the two of them, the pair of them, is trying to break away from the other drivers. And Sovrano is taking the chicane. He is fast, he's doing good, but Archie Snell is not giving up on his tail, and Alex Galvani is trying desperately to not be bumped out by the first two. He is desperately trying to stay with them, not to lose too much ground. Okay. While we have Sansoni under investigation for track limits. So Andrea Sansoni is under investigation. He's in P11 for track limits. While the pair who leads is taking now advantage. 1:12.651 for Bruno Sovrano. Archie Snell is on his tail. Alex Galvani is 1 second behind Archie Snell. Sansoni has overtaken Michele Sigorini now for P10.
Yeah, now the situation for the lead seems to be warmer than before. We have Sovrano and Snell fighting for the lead, but not with a gara in this time, just making fastest lap after fastest lap. And probably we're gonna see the best part of this race during the last few laps. But now we have 7 minutes more or less. So, plenty of time for most of the drivers to gain as many positions as they can. And now let's focus back on the leading group. We have Sovrano as well, who's pushing hard with the fastest lap of the race, 11.6. And then we have Snell, who's making 11.8, so only 2/10 slower. It means that the leading group is very, very, very fast against the other part of the field, where the medium lap time, the average lap time is 12.5 or 13, so more than 1 second faster for the leading group is an important thing to know for the other drivers in the following hits. That they show their potential. They're showing us also the lines to follow in this tricky situation where the track seems to be dry now, but some corners, some lines are not 100% dry. So it's also important for all the drivers to find the best way to pass, the best way to approach every single corner to gain as much time as they can. But then another time on the end of this lap, and then now we have seen the lap time. They were not so fast, 12.9, 12.7 for the leading group. 12.9, sorry, for the Anna Wodeczka, for the Polish driver in 19th position. Let's have a look at what's gonna happen back. Yeah, there is Sovrano, Bruno Sovrano, who takes again the best lap, 10.9, and then Snell make 11.0. So basically they're basically the same. And if we see the third time, 11.6, 11.8, it means basically 1 second slower for the third and the fourth every single lap. That is a huge gap.
Sovrano has maintained an advantage of half a second on Archie Snell, as they are ready now to cross the line again. And we will see how will they go on with the 40 minutes and 4 minutes and 45 seconds to go. But Archie Snell now has put on the fastest lap of the race with a 1:10.585. So he has shortened up the gap in 4/10 of a second. Here they come, as you can see from this picture. Here they come through the Curva dei Meccanici corner. Here they go, and let's see if Snell is able to remain fully on Sovrano in front of him. He scored again the fastest T1. So it looks like he is faster than Sovrano, but he has to remain there, and now he has to try the attack, because he may also be faster, but now he has to attack if he wants the win. Now it's 3 minutes and 50 seconds to go. So again, a bunch of laps for him, but it's the moment now to attack.
Yeah, I think that being faster when you are behind a rival is easier, basically, because you can follow his line, you can see where your lap time is better and when his lap time is better. So being behind sometimes in this case is an advantage for the last part.
Now he's bumping him on the first two corners. He's really bumping him, while we had the fastest lap, Elia Segato 1:9.110, and there's the attack. We can see the attack for the lead from Archie Snell on Bruno Sovrano. Here they are, wheel to wheel, cheek to cheek in this moment with Archie Snell. Now it's got the inside line, crosses the line Sovrano and is back in first place, but what a battle, and I think that's just the beginning.
Yeah, 2 minutes left. Plenty of time to do whatever they want. The gap between them and the third is big. 3 seconds more or less gap between them, and that's why for now the situation. Yeah, after this opportunity, we didn't see other things happening. Now they are not bumping each other anymore. 5 tenths, or basically 6 tenths is the gap now. Galvani, due to this fight, the leading fight, gained some time, but less than a second. The gap now is 3.2. So I don't think that in a few laps he will be able to close the gap and get to the lead. But it of course depends on the leader, because if they're gonna fight against each other, it could be an opportunity for them to lose time and for the third driver to close the gap and create a 3-wide gap and 3-wide fight for the lead in a few laps.
And they go again with Sovrano and Snell. One final lap and a half to go. With Sovrano now has taken this lead, and he has answered to the attacks of Archie Snell, and now he's trying to push him back again and to tell him to stay in second position. We will see if the British driver will have the pace to attack in this. That I think will be one of the. They may have another 2 laps. They may have another 2 laps because they are on the bubble. They are on the bubble and they were just lapping. Now they're lapping in 1:10. I think they crossed the line with 1 minute and 11 or 12 to go. So I think they're on the bubble, and we will see if this is the last lap. Or if they will have a couple of laps more. I believe they will have a couple of laps more. Elias Segato 1:09.873, the fastest lap so far.
It could be the fastest lap now, maybe. I don't know, because 30 seconds, Maybe for Sovrano, a strategy could be to be slower in this part of the track, to not have another lap of fighting against the other drivers. But yeah, 20 seconds. I think that, yeah, they're, maybe they will pass, and they're gonna have 2 or 3 seconds. Let's see.
He's been given a 5 seconds penalty. 5 seconds penalty for Bruno Sovrano. And so now this is not anymore, while we begin the final lap now, it's not anymore the battle for the win. But
I don't think that Snell know that.
No,
So-
it's not been. I haven't seen a board with the sign, with the saying that he's got a 5 seconds penalty, but we've seen it on our time screen. And so we remember here that the Croatian driver Sovrano has a 5 seconds penalty, and so Archie Snell now can comfortably be first. So he doesn't need to attack him on track, but Sovrano needs to push to maintain at least the second position in front of Alex Galvani, who now is close. They're close now. We will have to see as they cross the line.
Let's see if there's gonna be an attack or not for the lead.
Sovrano doesn't have to lose this time. Sovrano, he has to let him go. Snell goes on the inside. Here they go, side by side again. Final corner with Archie Snell. Now coming out of the right. Sovrano tries to bump on him, but it's Snell P1, and it's Sovrano. I think Sovrano has lost a lot of time. We will have to wait for the time sheet, but I think
Sovrano in
Sovrano
P3.
lost a lot of time. It's P3.
Yeah, Sovrano, maybe. Snell didn't know that Sovrano received a penalty. Yeah, the marshal showed the number, but for most of the drivers, it's difficult to remember the numbers of all the drivers. So maybe he didn't see the penalty, or he didn't know that the penalty was for the leader. But yeah, the most important thing is that Snell won this race with Galvani in second position, and Sovrano at the end arrived third. So bad because he didn't win, but not so bad in terms of points, considering the points that he's gonna collect during all these 3 days. So another race has completed, un'altra gara terminata, con Sovrano che vince sulla pista, ma non vince a livello cronometrico in quanto ha ricevuto una penalità. C'è stato scritto poi per un contatto, andremo magari a rivedere dopo che genere di contatto. Quindi Snell, pilota inglese, è riuscito a portarsi a casa la vittoria di questo round con Galvani dietro, Sovrano che comunque limita i danni, da primo arriva terzo, via via poi Segato, Ferenci, Takas, Elli, Tomba, Sansoni, Sigorini e poi via via tutti gli altri piloti.
E allora una bella lotta tra Arci Snell e Bruno Sovrano, peccato per la penalità inflitta al croato. 1.09.357, giro più veloce di Elia Segato. Dayan Ferenci in quinta piazza si prende la vittoria per quanto riguarda la categoria Master. Con quindi una bella prestazione, una bella gara. Tra pochissimo sarà la volta della prima hit per quanto riguarda il gruppo E. Qualifying session hot lap for the Group E. Drivers are ready on track. Here they come. They are starting their hot lap now. So they are already, they have gone. They're ready to hit the track. So here I think everybody is able now to begin their hot lap. We see a lot of mud on the karts. Emanuele, there's a lot of dirt just outside of the track.
Yeah, now with the situation that is getting drier and drier, we see the cars that during the wet session they took a lot of grass on the track, especially in the outside line. That's why now the track is a bit dirty. Maybe that's why the drivers will be able to improve their lap, but not achieving the ideal lap time that we see in the dry condition, because yeah, the track is very dirty. So I don't know if basically tomorrow the track is gonna be clean or not, but this situation is also tricky for the drivers, because maybe when they can feel that they can push, the track does not let to do that. But that's the time now. Wow, 1:10.9. What a lap!
Anthony's Dick, but Hugo Boutin is able to beat him, beat his lap. We've seen the French driver who's able to take the fastest lap. Now we have to wait for all the drivers to come to the checkered flag now.
I saw a 1:10.4 probably. That could be an interesting lap time. Let's see what the classifier is gonna. Yes, we have
Karol Kwinzinski, 1:10.401. Kwinzinski, the Polish driver, in front of Mattia Sansoni, 1:10.545. Emiliano Saurin, P3, the first of the master, with a 1:10.970. Hugo Boutin, 1:10.973, is in fourth position, and then Anthony Slick.
Look at the gap.
P5.
Look at the gap between the third and the sixth. I think this is less than a fence between all of these drivers. So now with the track basically dry, the gap are closed. The gap are closed. Maybe we're gonna see a big group of drivers fighting for the lead, but that's gonna see what's gonna happen. But yeah, in this situation.
Quindi pole position che è andata a Karol Kwinzinski in 1:10.401 davanti a Mattia Sansoni in questa qualifica del gruppo E, prima hit del gruppo E, 1.10.401 per Karol Kwiatkowski, Mattia Sansoni 1.10.545, poi Emiliano Saurin, il primo della Master, l'italiano, con 1.10.970, e quindi insomma. Poi segnalavi giustamente tu, Emanuele, tra Emiliano Saurin e Nicola Georgiev, che in questo momento occupa la sesta piazza, tempi molto ravvicinati.
Tempi molto ravvicinati. Una cosa che ho notato anche nelle hit precedenti, mi pensavo che in delle condizioni così particolari i piloti italiani, i piloti di casa, potessero avere un vantaggio. Invece sì, vediamo che sono davanti, la maggior parte dei piloti italiani davanti, ma in rari casi in pole. Abbiamo visto piloti inglesi, piloti polacchi comunque dimostrare un grande passo, nonostante magari la loro nazionalità comunque non sia quella italiana, e quindi magari per loro la pista non è sicuramente una pista di casa, magari potrebbero averla vista la prima volta nel corso di questa giornata. Quindi impressionante come il livello sia alto da parte di praticamente tutte le nazioni, e questo sicuramente rende la competizione molto più accesa. Ma adesso i Marshall stanno sistemando l'ordine di partenza effettivo per la gara, sarà l'ultima di questa serata, quindi vediamo se questo gruppo magari ci regalerà una bagarre più stretta, magari con un gruppo di piloti più compatto.
So now we got some footage coming from the drone that is flying here from our production. They're doing a great job to bring you all the coverage for tonight, and of course from all the day that we'll have tomorrow, and then of course for the pre-final and the finals of Sunday. So we will have again two races to go. Two races. We will have the Group E, and then we will have the Group F to finish this evening of races. We will be back tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock a.m. for the second heat for all the groups, and we will go on again also tomorrow, more or less until 11, 10, half past 10, 11 p.m. Of course, we didn't have anything else to do, of course, in this Friday and this Saturday night, but spending here in Lonato with this beautiful South Garda Supercup that is already giving us a lot of emotions.
Yeah, even if we end late tonight, don't forget to put the clock alarm tomorrow morning at 9 more or less. The session are gonna start as well, so be ready also tomorrow morning, because it's gonna be a long live streaming starting in the morning and finishing during the night. So stay with us in this long weekend to see what the drivers are gonna do during the races.
Here they are, here they come. Also the last driver has now reached the field, and so we will be ready to the sign. The green light will be given soon. Drivers still waiting for the signal to start their formation lap, with also Stefano Villa Zanotti, who has reached the back of the field. So everybody's ready, with Beate Greenspon, who's taking the fastest lap among the two women on the track. Drivers are starting now, ready to hit the track, and so now it's the formation lap. Here they go for the formation lap.
Federico Contesi is telling to the driver, stay compact, don't leave this amount of space. Be one attack to the other to complete the correct procedure to start.
They're all very close now, and they're coming in the final sector. Again, remember you, for all the heats, it will be 12 minutes. 12 minutes for all the heats. And they are now ready to cut the track in the T3. Here they go. As they're coming through the line, here we have the footage from our drone. Here they come. Final corner coming out now. Lights on. And lights go out now. With Karol Kwiatkowski and Sansoni leading the field through the T1. We will see now they stomp through in this first sector with Kwiatkowski still leading from what I can see. Here he goes. Yeah, there he goes. Still leading Kwiatkowski with Sansoni on his tail. Emiliano Saurin under attack of Ugo Buten. I think there was a contact there.
Yeah, we've seen so many contacts. Also with the drone. We have the possibility to see the race using a drone. That is fantastic. That is a mega opportunity to see the drivers fighting from another perspective. But then we have to stay in the front because we have the two. We saw some contacts in every part of this field, but now we have the two leaders. They extend the gap, but then we have a big fight, a giant group fighting for the third position. But now another contact, and then the leadership change. I just want to see who is the leader.
Yeah, Mattia Sansoni has managed to take first position on Karol Kwiatkowski, while behind of them, all the group, as you can see, is bunching up, but Kwiatkowski is not giving up on his first position. As we go through the turn 5, with Kwiatkowski now trying to find the gap to attack on Mattia Sansoni, and behind of them, Emiliano Saurin is again under attack of Ugo Buten, the Frenchman, with Anthony Slick, also the other French driver trying to attack on them, with Matteo Ogero behind of them. And it's gonna be a tough battle to the end, to the checkered flag, with 10 minutes to go in this race.
Yeah, the two leaders, maybe they're losing so much time, too much time in this case, because they had a big gap. Even if the group behind is fighting a lot, they're not gaining the amount of time necessary to escape. I don't know why they're doing this, because the group behind is fighting, but they're fighting as well, and this is not the best strategy to gain a good amount of time and be safe. But then we see drivers going on the grass in the back field, but then now we see the bump drafting in the straight between the two leaders. So maybe they understood that the best strategy is not to fight against each other, is to push themselves to extend the gap. Why? Because there is a very big group behind, driven by Saurin.
Again, a battle of two drivers, with Sansoni now again leading the field in this phase of the race, this part of the race, with the Polish driver on his tail, trying to push hard as he can to overtake. Of course, it's not easy.
No, not at all.
To be in that situation, where we have a 3 seconds penalty for Stefano Villazanotti for contact at turn 12. So he's been given a 3 seconds penalty, 3 seconds penalty for Stefano Villazanotti. Let's see how they storm through, with Sansoni again leading, Kwiatkowski 1:10.5, Emiliano Saurin 1:10.408 is 1.6 behind the leaders, but he is trying to push hard to close the gap, and he's almost managed to do it, because he's not too far away if they keep on fighting. Also because Emiliano Saurin is under attack by Ugo Buten. But if they keep on fighting like this, they may be under threat of Saurin behind of them.
Yeah, now let's stay in front of the field, where we have the view from the drone. in the pettiness sector. Wow, this view, it's amazing. We can see all the fighting, all the attacks from the drivers in one of the trickiest part of the track. Look at the... Wow, they are trying to enter 3 wide in a corner, but yeah, 3 wide is too much for a single line. And then we have Sansone as well, followed by Kwiatkowski. And then the gap between the second and the third is growing. Sauri now has a 2 seconds gap. And then we have Botin, Slick, and all the other drivers, but let's stay in the front of the field.
Here they come again, and it's again a great battle here in the front. The group of drivers behind the leaders. While we have seen the fastest lap of the race by Mattia Giacchino in 1:09.860, the fastest lap so far. In front again Sansoni, leading on Kwiatkowski as they come with Saurino and Butin still fighting for third position, but still trying to catch the two in front of them, but there still is some gap with Emiliano Saurin trying to it looks like he's close, he's doing a little bit of he's blocking the drivers behind of him with Ugo Butin, who looks faster, 1:09.805 by Sansoni, and now 1:09.511 by Jakub Patsisin, who is in P5, and now he will try, of course, to attack to regain some ground on the drivers in front. Here you can see them with the leader now taking the corner, the fifth corner of the track, and we will try to see how they will manage to go on in this situation with 5 minutes and a half to go. We are in the second half of this race, and very good job by Emiliano Saurin, who may not be the fastest driver, but he is managing to stay in front of Ugo Butin and Jakub Patsisin, who are now coming very, very fast.
Yeah. Saurin closed the gap, but just for a tenth, and I think it's not gonna be enough for this heat. So we are gonna see a good fight for the third position in this heat, and then probably the best fight will be for the win of this race in this case. But the scenario that we have here is very interesting. So people who's following from home, from all over the world, prepare the popcorn, get ready to see probably one of the best final part of the heat of today. We see another attack. They're going to be 3 wide. I think 3 wide in the enter of the quadra is not possible.
Ugo Butin and Jakub Patsisin have overtaken Emiliano Saurin, who was trying to take back the position. So now Ugo Butin is P3 in front of Jakub Patsisin, and Emiliano Saurin P5 is still the fastest among the open drivers. While we have Anthony Slick, who is in P8, but has been given a 3 seconds penalty for contact on turn 5. So also a penalty for Anthony Slick, the Frenchman, who has been given a 3 seconds penalty, sorry. In front, still together, Sansoni and Kwiatkowski. Now Kwiatkowski looks like he's trying to overtake, while the Danish Patsisin and Jakub Patsisin is now taking P3 in front of Ugo Butin. And so now he may try to put his pace on the track to try to catch the two in front of him if they fight. But they are far away. They are far away. We see that the Danish driver trying to break away from the other part of the group that he's in. But the two in front, they are fighting each other, and so he may try to close the gap. Although it's just 3 minutes to go, so there's not much time left.
Yeah, a few minutes and a few laps left. The drivers in front are probably start to fight one against each other. Let's see, because they're basically 2 minutes left. So more or less this could be the penultimate lap maybe. Or 2 laps, no, maybe 3 laps more. We have again Sansoni in front of the field with Kidzinski in second position, that is managing this space, not taking so many risks, just stay behind, and let's see what's gonna happen if he is gonna be able to find an opportunity to go and attack using the inside line. But at the moment the race is showing us a good fight for the third position in the podium, and then a relaxing race in front. But we know that in a few laps, in this lap and the next one, we are gonna see a very big and good fight for the leader.
Here they come now, Mattia Sansoni and Karol Kwinzinski in the final sector. Here they are cutting the line. Here it is, the penultimate lap starting now, with Kwinzinski pushing hard on Sansoni, like saying, let's go, let's go. They're coming close, but it's 2.4 seconds behind them and Panzishin in P3. Here they come again.
Look at the group of the driver in the midfield. There are so many, all in a small gap. But let's say in the front, where most of the things are happening, we see that now the third driver has a little gap between the others. So maybe the third position could not be compromised, and the fight is probably gonna be only for the fourth position, so not at the podium.
And we will see why we are about to start the final lap. Final lap start, almost ready to start now, with the drivers coming out on the front stretch, while 17 seconds missing. So final lap. Here they go with Kwinzinski, who is now trying to maintain the position. His P2 is trying to attack on Sansoni. Also, it's not as easy as it looks like. We will see now. Here they come. Final lap. Something I think might be happened, because I see that there's only one. I think Sansoni alone is taking the position. We got some troubles with our footage now, with our pictures. But let's take a look, because I think Sansoni may be leading alone now this race. Although, no, maybe they're just fighting each other.
Let's see what's gonna happen.
Now here they come in,
they're still
together.
The group is now compact during this last corner, and there could be an opportunity for the third one to win on the last lap of the race.
Here they come. Panzishin has closed the gap. Here they come. Here they come. Now I think it's Panzishin.
It did
Panzishin is taking the win in front of Kwinzinski, and then Mattia Sansoni. There's been a mistake by Sansoni, but then Panzishin and Kwinzinski were able to overtake him with the Danish driver, the fastest driver, who in the final corner took the first position, and took the win for this heat. What a win by the Danish, taken in the final corner. What a win by the Danish driver in the final corner of this track, of this race, with Karol Kwinzinski P2 in front of Mattia Sansoni, then Ugo Butin, Matteo Ogereux, Emiliano Saurin P6, then Mattia Zecchino P7, Anthony Slick P8 in front of Ruggero Vanni, Lee Schnitzer was taken P10, and then Leorati, Mladenovic, Ralkev, Piazzoli, Pagani, Fitzgerald, Margiotta and Campo in P18. Che vittoria per Jakub Panzishin, che si è preso la prima posizione proprio all'ultima curva davanti a Karol Kwinzinski e Mattia Sansoni, con Ugo Butin in quarta posizione, Emiliano Saurin primo dei master. Tra le donne invece Alexandra Merkel si è presa la miglior prestazione nella categoria Women davanti a Beate Greenspone. Andiamo quindi chiudiamo con il gruppo E, tra poco sarà la volta del gruppo F. Final heat for the evening with the Group F drivers already on track for the hot lap session, so the qualifying session. Drivers are now hitting the track now. It's the last race for this evening, of races, late afternoon and evening of races. I'm giving you now some informations about tomorrow, because we will start tomorrow at 9 with the at 9 o'clock with the first heat of the day for the group A, the second heat, and then we will have all the heats, and we will all the heats until the sixth heat, and we will go on again until 11:05 p.m. And then we will start again at 9 o'clock on Sunday with the pre-final races, and we will go on and we will have the final races starting at 12:30. Of course, on Sunday, but tomorrow it's gonna be again a day of heats, and it's gonna be fun. So now, Emanuele, let's take a look at the times coming up on the screen for this last qualifying session of the day.
Yeah, we have a lot of home race drivers, so I think that they will be able to get their kart in the best position.
Best position, we will see how will it go with the first drivers now crossing the line.
So I can imagine a lap time of 1:09.8. I can try to guess the...
Mateusz Bartsch, 1:10.310. This is the fastest lap so far, but they are still crossing the line, a lot of drivers. And I think we will have some improvement, as you said before.
Maybe not 1.9, but we are gonna see if 1.10 is gonna be enough to get pole position of this heat.
Mateusz Bartsch, 1:10.310, the driver from Poland. In front of Radica Gadeva in second position, the first one among the women. And Bastian Kindle from Liechtenstein takes third place in 1:10.572. They are very close with Kenny Roberts P4 in 1:10.598, and Massimo Tasevski from Macedonia is P5 in 1:10.691, and Valerio Prandi P6 1:10.756. How close they are!
Yeah,
they are very close.
Yeah, Matt Bartsch is of course a driver who races often in Italy. That's why this situation is very fast. But as we can see now, the field is very compact. We have 20 drivers basically in 1 second. So probably this could be one of the most exciting races of the day. So let's have a look at if the last heat of the day will be the best one.
Here they come. Now they are lining up on the straight after turn 5 as they get They, of course, they are put in the right order by the stewards. We have Mateusz Bartz, leader, first of the master, then Raditza Gadeva, second position, first one of the women, and Bastian Kindle from Liechtenstein is the third driver and is the first one upon the open class, in front of Robles, Tasevski, Prandi, Andersen, Feole, Verzellesi. So a great, and they are all very, very close. They've scored so times very, very close, and so looks like it's going to be fun in this last race for the evening. As they come through, as they storm through, we see that now all the drivers are taking their position. E quindi abbiamo visto insomma una bella qualifica con Mateusz Bartz che si è preso la pole davanti a Raditza Gadeva e Bastian Kindle. Abbiamo visto, dicevamo, Emanuele, tutti molto vicini per quanto riguarda i tempi, quindi andremo a vedere sicuramente una gara molto combattuta. E questa ultima manche di giornata, l'abbiamo detto, partiremo domani alle 9 con le altre manche. Altra giornata di manche per tutti i gruppi domani con 5 manche. Alle 9 di domenica invece inizieremo con le prefinali e alle 12:30 invece inizieranno le finali di questa South Garda Supercup. Now trying to line up the group with all the drivers ready to hit the track.
Vediamo se questa ultima hit della giornata ci riserverà delle situazioni interessanti di bagarre tra i piloti. Abbiamo visto una qualifica molto accesa, molto tirata davanti a tutti. Matt Barsh ha preso la pole position con Gadeva, la ragazza in questo caso del gruppo, categoria woman, addirittura in seconda posizione. E poi c'è Kindle in terza, Robert. Guarda quanti piloti stranieri davanti a tutti. Onestamente all'inizio di questa giornata non me lo sarei mai aspettato. Invece questi piloti internazionali sono davvero molto 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 forti e competitivi. Fin da subito, fin dalle prime battute, nonostante la pista sia in queste condizioni così particolari e diverse dal solito. A breve partirà, poi ci sarà la partenza dell'ultima hit di giornata e poi via via i programmi andranno a continuare domani mattina, quindi finiremo stasera tardi e torneremo qua domani mattina molto presto, per cui ricordiamo tutti di mettere la sveglia. Alle 9 praticamente partiranno le prime hit. Sveglia, adesso popcorn, bibite pronte per l'ultima hit della serata e poi ci vedremo domattina magari con un cornetto e un cappuccino pronti per iniziare la seconda delle 3 giornate qui alla South Garda Karting, alla South Garda Supercup.
Drivers ready for the formation lap. They're already taking their formation lap. With now the last part of the track that will be cut down for this formation lap. The final formation lap of this evening of races. Here they come now. Mateusz Bartz and Raditza Gadeva, who have to slow down to take the group all close as the marshals made their signs to them to slow down. Here they come. They are ready now, and there's an extra formation lap. Extra formation lap commanded by the race director, so something wrong with the starting lineup.
Yeah, we see the last group of 5 drivers that were too far from the others. They have to stay attached to the drivers in front and not leaving any space. Even 1 centimeter is too much, so that's why the race director told the drivers another formation lap and then we are gonna start.
So another formation lap, giro di formazione extra per i piloti che dovranno quindi effettuare un altro giro della pista di Lonato, chiaramente molto lentamente. Il direttore di gara chiaramente ha atteso a dare il via appunto per il posizionamento dei piloti non corretto, e insomma sappiamo che devono essere tutti allineati. So here they come. They relaxed a little bit in this extra formation lap. Now it's time for them to punch up all the ideas to Stay calm, stay focused, and collect, and try to have the best start that they can. Barch and Gadeva filling the group with Bastian Kindle in third position, Kenny Robles P4. Here they come now. This time they may be good to go. At least that's what we think that we can see from our position. They're very slow, very slow. Emanuele.
Even if they are slow, the group is not compact. I don't know how and why.
Now it is. Look, they're bumping each other. They practically stopped in the final sector. A very strange formation lap. Very strange extra formation lap. Here they come. They are very slow in the final corner. Really slow. Let's see if the race director will give the green light now. Command now.
It could be another formation lap.
Here they come.
They are not.
Lights on, and lights go down now. Go out now with Mateusz Bartz trying to look where is Raditza Gadeva. Raditza Gadeva now pushing hard on Bartz in front of her. Here they are with Gadeva trying to push on Mateusz Bartz in the first corner with Bastian Kindle also pushing the hard of them. Gadeva does a contact with Bartz and Gadeva tries to get in front. Bartz is on the inside now at the quadra corner with Bastian Kindle.
Let's see what's gonna happen. There have been a contact between the drivers. We see the woman now is in fifth position. She lost some position now.
Oh, there's a driver who has done a great attack on the chicane. But what a start!
What is happening? They're all fighting for the second position. Look at 3 wide, and 3 and 4 wide at the entrance of the last corner.
Here they are. They're completing now first lap with Kenny Robles, the Frenchman, who is taking first position, and Valerio Prandi. What a recovery by him. 1.9 seconds behind in second position, and Raditza Gadeva has managed to go back on P3, but the leader, Kenny Robles, has now gone away. Raditza Gadeva must try to... Oh, she's lost the go-kart on the entrance of the Curva dei Meccanici. She's lost the control of her go-karts, and for a while looked like she was out, but now she is almost around P4 and P5.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, that's true. And look at 3 wide. 3 wide is too much. The curva S, the fastest turn of the track. Wow. This heat now is very intense.
Now we see if Kenny Robles has it to go away. Prandi must defend from the drivers on his tail. I think that Mateusz Bartz is managed to go back on the leadership of the drivers in front of him. Robles has gone, but Mateusz Bartz is P2 in front of Valerio Prandi. 1:10.606. Great recovery by Mateusz Bartz after a poor start with Raditza Gadeva, now P4. The Bulgarian driver with a pink helmet. We can see her now fighting hard with Oliver Dankiewicz. She all the times that she comes at the corner, at the fifth corner, when she brakes, she loses her go-kart just on the rear. Looks
yeah,
like,
she blocks the rear.
She's sliding, but she's able to control it.
That is a strategy and a way to drive used for the indoor karting. I don't know if she is gonna use the same way to drive also in an outside karting track. But yeah, I think it's strange because she brakes a lot in the last part of the corner. But let's see if this type of driving is gonna pay out at the end of the race. Then we have Prandi again on the last corner, attacking the rival and get back to the second position.
Valerio Prandi taking back P2 and taking back the fastest lap. Mateusz Barc P3 in front of Galit Saradeva, then Oliver Dankiewicz, the first one of the open category. Let's see if Prandi can maintain second position in front of Mateusz Barc. We can see Prandi has already lost his second position. Prandi has lost, whoa, with Galica, who was able to go P2. Now she's almost lost the go-kart.
Wow.
Now, what she's done, Prandi now fighting hard for taking back third position. I think that he's lost. Yeah.
So many positions here. She lost.
She's lost. Yes.
What a mess for her.
Yes, she's lost many places because of that slide on the exit of the corner now.
Very bad for her because she was doing a very great race, but now she has time to recover the position. But yeah, all of the drivers in this field are very fast, so it's not gonna be easy at all.
Kenny Robles storms through, Mateusz Barc P2, Prandi P3, and then of course we have Dankiewicz, Feole, Mielewski P6, Camille Fournier P7, and the French girl Camille Fournier now is 7th, and she's the first one of the women. So the women category. So she has managed to do a great recovery. Oh, Prandi still under attack. Prandi again under attack now of the driver on his tail, Dankiewicz. So the Polish now has taken P3 behind of Mateusz Barc, with the leader Kenny Robles storming away now. Prandi P4, he's lost the position, and Gabriele Feole P5. It's a shame for Radica Gadeva, but she was risking too much in that situation.
Then Prandi attack as well and get back to the third position. But the other driver attack him as well at the next corner. Then we are gonna see a 3 wide though. Prandi again to the inside line. Let's see if he's gonna push the other driver to the grass. No. What a fight for the podium when Robles and Matt Barsh are in front. Not disturbed. Prandi is fighting as a lion for the third position, and then again he has been passed, but he will have another opportunity at the end of the straight in the Curva di Meccanici. Let's see.
Outside,
Prandi from the outside, it's not possible. From the outside, it's not possible, but now yes.
It may be a move to make the switch now. Here he goes, and he's P3, but he's under attack again from the drivers behind of him. If it's that Gabriele Feole and Blażej Mielewski who are trying the attack on Prandi, has lost many places now. Prandi, we can say that he's lost many places now. 4 minutes to go. 4 minutes to go in this final heat of the day, as Robles and Barch are now trying to put some gap on the drivers behind of them, with Dankiewicz, I think, is in P3. Robles now crosses the line, P1. Mateusz Barc, P2. Fastest lap, 1:10.410. And Gabriele Feole, actually, who is in P3. So Gabriele Feole, P3, has managed to take the position, and he's done a great job there. He has done a great job, and he has taken the place while Kenny Robles manages to go away. Prandi doesn't give up the fight, of course, in that situation, and he bumps the go-kart in front of him with, I think that was Camille Fournier, the French driver, who has been attacked and passed by Valerio Prandi now, while in front. Kenny Robles has 3.1 seconds of leads on Mateusz Barc. So they are now going, and they are trying to break away. They're trying to go away while there are 2 minutes and 50 seconds left. So in this final race of the day. We only have 2 minutes and actually 40 seconds now. With 1:09.76 by the leader Kenny Robles, who wants to go home as a leader, as the winner, with the maximum points taken home tonight on this final race, which is actually just the first heat of the Group F.
Prandi again defending and attacking. He wants this podium position.
He's got a penalty. 3 seconds penalty for Valerio Prandi. We have a black and white flag, but he also has a 3 seconds penalty on our screen, Valerio Prandi.
Maybe he has received so many of them. That's why he received the penalty. Let's see later why he received the penalty for what type of attack, but now he's in the third position, or no, fourth, but he has so many drivers behind him. That's why he's gonna lose a lot of position.
Now it's sure he's got 3 seconds penalty.
Yeah, it's shown as in 14th position, so 10 position losing at the moment.
But the leader in front, Kenny Robles, has started his penultimate lap, and he has made he has built up a great gap on the drivers on behind of him. 3.6 seconds of Mateusz Bartz. Gabriele Feole, P3, is the first one of the open category, while Camille Fournier is the first one of the women in P6 now. Of course, P6 with the penalty of Prandi being under the count in this situation. Here they come. The leader, Kenny Robles. What a race! What how to say? It was quite like a ride in the park for him in this race, and the final lap is starting now.
Last lap of the day, last lap, full of emotion. We have seen a lot of attacks and defense during this race. One lap to see who's gonna be the winner. Probably it's gonna be Robles. Matt Bash is fixed in second position. Then we have Gabriele Feole, the Italian driver, who is trying to maintain the podium position, followed by the other drivers. But yeah, then let's have a look at what's gonna happen with Prandi, that received a penalty, but he's fighting as well. Even if he has a penalty in this last lap, it's not gonna be the best strategy for him, because he's gonna lose so many positions due to this fighting. But this is race. These are races.
Here they come. Final part of the race with the drivers coming in the T3 with Kenny Robles, the leader, who is P1 and is closing the lap. Final corner for him. Front stretch. Here he goes. Checkered flag. Kenny Robles wins the first heat of the F group in front of Mateusz Bartz, and then Gabriele Feole P3, and Blażej Mielewski P4, and then Versellesi P5. Camille Fournier P6, first one of the women. Dankiewicz P7, Kindle P8, Colombo P9, and then Prandi P10. Valerio Prandi is able to maintain 10th position in front of Chiarenza, Autin, Ovesen, Andersen. What a race by the drivers. Che gara che abbiamo visto anche in questo gruppo F, con i piloti che sono stati molto bravi a gestire la situazione e a portarsi a casa questa vittoria. Kenny Robles da subito è scattato subito velocissimo e si è andato a prendere la prima posizione. Da segnalare anche la lotta alle sue spalle, bravo Mateusz Bartz a prendersi la seconda, e anche tutti, e Gabriele Feole, primo degli italiani, primo degli Open, in terza piazza. Camille Fournier sesta, prima delle ragazze. Quindi in questo momento non resta che salutarsi e dare l'appuntamento a domani con le manche di giornata, con le 5 manche per gruppo. Ne avremo un po' per tutta la giornata. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. That's all for this evening of races here in Lonato, in the South Garda Super Cup. We will be back tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., and we'll be back for the 5 hits for every group of this South Garda Super Cup. That's all for tonight. Have a good evening. Have a peaceful Friday evening. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Bye bye.